everyone. Today we'll see how Mendel used mathematical logic and statistics to carry out monohybrid cross and to understand inheritance of one gene. Genes are the unit of inheritance which determines the characteristics and that are transferred from one generation to other. And these genes are present in the DNA, that is the hereditary material which is located inside the chromosomes. They are present as small segments of chromosomes, and these each segments that are located in the chromosome, they indicate a particular characteristics or they show a particular trait. Genes occur in pairs in diploid organism. In diploid organism, there are two sets of chromosome, each obtained from the parents, that is during the sexual reproduction. Each parental gamete have a number of chromosomes. Those are haploid in nature since they have undergone meiotic division. The union of two gametes, that is the haploid gametes, will give rise to diploid organism. And we see that the set of chromosomes which are present in both the parents will be seen in the diploid cell. Both the sets forms the pair in the diploid cell, and hence they are called as homologous chromosomes. Though both the chromosomes are formed from two different individual or two different gametes, still they are alike to each other by the shape or the size or the centromere position, and also the characteristics that are present in one chromosome will be also present in the other chromosome. So therefore they are called as homologous chromosomes. So genes also will occur in pairs on these homologous chromosomes. So these pair of genes we also call it as alleles. Genes or alleles, they are present or located at one particular point or locus on both the chromosomes, but they have the variants. For example, here the eye color is located at one particular position. At same place, the eye color chromosome or segment of chromosome, it is like located at that particular point on the other chromosome. But there can be variant. For example, this particular chromosome may have brown colored eye characteristic, and on the other it may be blue eyes, or both may be for blue eyes or both may be for brown eyes. So alleles are the pair of genes having certain variants present in them. So this basic knowledge was essential to learn about monohybrid cross or inheritance of one gene. So without wasting our time, we'll start with monohybrid cross. Mendel chose 7 contrasting traits having variants or different forms of traits in that particular characteristic. So all varieties he carried out self-pollination so that he could get true breed plants for his experiment. He noted, when he carried out this particular experiment, he noted that in F1 generation, the one which was expressed are the dominant characteristics and the one which were hidden are the recessive characteristics. And for monohybrid cross, he chose individual characteristic at a time to carry out this experiment. So we will remember that in a particular variant, we will take one as dominant and another one as recessive. We should also see to it that it will be convenient to use an alphabet for the particular characteristics to show. For example, seed shape, since the round shape is dominant over the wrinkled one, so we have to take capital R, and same alphabet we should use for wrinkled, but it will be the lower case or small letter we will use. Similarly for the others, also we have to take the alphabets as per which one is the dominant. So only the dominant one, the first letter we will choose as a capital letter for both the variants. Only thing is that for the recessive one we will use small letter, same letter but it will be small one. So to take the monohybrid cross to study, we'll have one example, that is stem height. And two variants for the stem height is tall and dwarf or short. So we have to take pure tall plants crossed with pure dwarf plants, as we should remember that Mendel had carried out self-pollination in order to get true breed tall plants and true pure dwarf plants. Now since they have undergone self-pollination repeated time in order to get these pure forms, we can call them as homozygous. Now as we already have discussed that we have to use, it is convenient to use alphabets for in order to denote the tall plants or dwarf plants. So since tall plants are dominating over the dwarf plants, so therefore we will use capital T, and we have to write down in pair, because again we should remember that these genes are in pairs or alleles on the homologous chromosomes. So for tall plants we will indicate capital T, and for dwarf plants we will indicate small t. So pure tall plants capital T and pure dwarf plants small t are coming under parental generation or parents, and will denote it as capital P. At reproductive stage, these plants will undergo meiotic division to give rise to gamete cells, which will have haploid number of chromosome. We know that when a particular cell undergo meiotic division, it will have half the number of chromosome from that of parental one. So we have to see that when we write the gamete, we will take only one alphabet in a particular gamete and will encircle it. So we will see here that from capital T, since they are diploid, will undergo meiotic division and will have one particular letter, half number of chromosome in the gamete. So we have to write down capital T, encircle it, again one more capital T, encircle it. Similarly for the dwarf plant, small t, encircle, again one more small t we have to write and we have to encircle, indicating that the number of chromosomes reduced to half. And then we have to see the first generation, what are the plants that will be formed with the help of Punnett square. A Punnett square is a checkerboard which was developed by a British scientist, Reginald C. Punnett. It is the graphical representation in order to calculate the probability of all possible genes which we will see in the offsprings of F1 generation or F2 generation after the genetic cross. The possible gametes are written on the two sides, that is usually at the top row and at the left hand side column, which is shown here. So we have to write down male or female gametes, indicating the symbol indicating the gametes that are present at both the side. Of one parental gamete, we will write down at one particular row, that is the top row, and on the other side, that is left hand side column, we will write down the gametes of the other parent, as it is shown in this particular picture. And all the possible combination of these gametes will be written in these squares, and we will come to know what are the types of plants which are seen in F1 generation. So when the cross was carried out between the tall plants and dwarf plants, they produce the gametes, and the gametes are shown as in the Punnett square, and we can see here that different types of individuals which are shown in these squares. So we see here that there are all tall plants which are being seen. Now why we are saying there are all tall plants even though there is small t here? We should remember that capital T is meant for dominance, whereas small t is meant for recessiveness. So even in the presence of small t, the dominant allele or dominant gene will be expressed. So therefore in F1 generation we will get all tall plants. Now since this particular offspring have recessive gene 2, so therefore we call it as hybrid or heterozygous, whereas for the parents we call them as homozygous, since both the alphabet which we have shown are pure, so they are pure forms capital T or small t, whereas here it is hybrid since there are the combination of two genes from both the parents which is seen in the offspring. So therefore they are called as heterozygous or hybrid tall plants. Then all the offsprings which were formed in F1 generation were carried out, self-pollination or selfing was carried out in between these species which were formed in the F1 generation, and same process was continued. So since it is heterozygous, definitely the gametes that have been formed will be different from each other, having two different types of genes. So we have to write down gametes in bracket G to show the gametes in the circle. So capital T, small t, this particular parent will give rise to capital T, one particular gamete, type of gamete, small t, other type of gamete. Similarly, we will see in the other parent 2 of the F1 generation. To find out F2 generation, again Punnett square can be represented, and these gametes would be will be written on the rows or the column. Now, we should remember that these symbols designate the gametes. So, female gametes are eggs, whereas male gametes are the pollens that were shared on that particular flower. So, from the self-pollination, these are the combination of offspring which will be seen. Now, one thing we should remember, that there is the probability or 50% chance of the union of gamete. Say for example, capital T gamete of this particular plant will fertilize with the capital T of the other plant, or it can fertilize with small t of the other plant. So, there is the possibility wherein capital T of one will fertilize either with capital T of the other plant or small t. So, that means this particular gamete can fertilize, there are 50% chances to fertilize with capital T gamete of the other plant or small t gamete of other plant. Similarly, this small t has the possibility 50% chances to fertilize with capital T or small t. So, random fusion of gametes can take place. So, when the random fusion of gamete will take place, definitely different types of offsprings would be seen in the F2 generation. So, what are the different offsprings that are formed in F2 generation? And we have to write down it as phenotypic ratio. So, phenotypic ratio was 3:1, indicates that there are 3 tall and 1 dwarf plant. You can see here capital T is the tall plant, capital T small t, twice the offsprings are formed, that means 2 offsprings are formed, indicate the tallness. Why? Because capital T is dominating over the small t, whereas there is only one offspring which is dwarf, that is small t, small t. Now, when we speak about 3 tall, 1 dwarf, and it is the phenotypic ratio, phenotypic indicates the morphological features or observable features which we can see, and accordingly we can write down. So, 3 tall and 1 dwarf. So, it makes 3:1 ratio. Now, what are the genotypic ratio which Mendel had explained? Now, genotypic ratio is with respect to genes that are present. So, we can see here capital T is exactly similar to the parental tall plants or pure tall plants. So, therefore, it will be homozygous tall plant. Then we see the other genotype, that is capital T small t. Again one more capital T small t is mentioned in these squares, which is different from that of tall plants. So, it is heterozygous, and or we can call it as hybrid tall plants or heterozygous tall plants, whereas the one is pure dwarf plant which is exactly similar to one of the parent, that was pure dwarf plant. So, what do we get? The genotypic ratio as 1:2:1, indicating 1 homozygous tall exactly similar to one parent, 2 heterozygous tall which are the hybrid variety, and 1 homozygous dwarf, again it is identical to one of the parent. So this way we get the genotypic ratio, which indicates the genotypes that are seen in F2 generation. So ratio will be 1/4 for homozygous stall is to 2/4, which is also could be written as 1/2 is to 1/4 for the homozygous dwarf plant. So mathematically Mendel explained about the capital T or small t, the gametes that are bearing this particular genes with the capital T or small t, they are having equal frequency of half. So if we consider the gametes bearing capital T and small t are the frequency is half, then we can have an expression that is half t plus half small t, the whole square, will give half t plus half small t multiply by half t capital T plus half small t. Since it is the whole square, we can use it this way. And what is the answer that we get? We get half is to 1/2 is to 1/4. So Mendel explained mathematically the expression of genes, and which has the gametes, that is the frequency of gametes will be always half in monohybrid cross, and this way he had explained. So we see that one is homozygous, two are heterozygous, and again one is homozygous. So that's how we get 1:2:1 ratio in monohybrid cross as genetic ratio. So this is the way how monohybrid cross has been carried out. Same experiment or same cross can be carried out for the other features or other contrasting traits which were shown by Mendel. It is very important to write down parents, gametes, first generation, then selfing, gametes, first that is second filial generation, phenotypic and genotypic ratio when we are carrying out this monohybrid cross. So same way it can be carried for the other traits, since it is very important from exam point of view. Most of the competitive exams such questions are being asked, such problems are being asked. So it is I hope you all have understood how we are supposed to prepare or to find out the monohybrid cross.